Welcome to the Rock is George podcast. I'm your host, George Dionne, and this is episode 51. Thanks for tuning in to the Rock is George podcast at rockisgeorge.com or on your favorite streaming platform, knac.com or YouTube. For this episode, I have an up-and-coming Swedish melodic hard rock band. Big surprise, I have a soft spot for the Swedish melodic rock bands. The name of the band is Starchaser. I had the chance to talk to guitarist Kenneth Jonsson, although that may have a Swedish twist to the last name, and Ulrich Carlsson, vocalist, about their self-titled debut that was released on May 6th through Frontiers Music. So here's Kenneth Jonsson and Ulrich Carlsson of the band Starchaser. If I knew absolutely nothing about Starchaser, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Start up with a really tough question. This I don't think there's a correct way of describing it. It's I would say it's hard rock with lots of melody, somewhere between hard rock / metal kind of stuff.
For me, as a singer, and I mean, this is my 8th album that I've done in my life. First with us, of course, but I would say that, as you say, Kenneth, that's where, I mean, for me, melody is very important. It's always been like that. I like that myself when I listen to songs that, hooks in them, or guitar riff with a hook in. It's same thing. It's, it makes me want to listen to it even more when I hear stuff like that. And you can hear in not just only metal or hard rock or melodic metal or melodic whatever. It's so many different ways. But it's always hard to put the finger on it yourself. I think it's more up to the audience to do that.
Starchaser originally started off as a solo project for you, Kenneth, and then you brought in Ulrich. How did this thing go from solo project to band project?
Well, I had this, musical break kind of thing for about 6 months after leaving TAD MOROSE, and I felt that suddenly I was just sitting down with my piano and I started to write songs basically. And from the beginning, pretty much all of the songs on the album was just piano stuff. It was just piano music. And then I started to add the drums and guitars and bass and stuff like that. And I actually tried some singing as well, but sounded like, I'm not supposed to sing. So I gave Ulrich a call and asked him. We've known each other since I think 2006, 7 or something like that. As I can remember, we said to each other already back then that someday we should try to do something together, and this was the opportunity. So I asked him. He was, my first choice because of his. I really love his voice and his tone, the tone in his voice. So he was my first choice, and I gave him the songs, and he did it. He started to record some vocals, and he wrote the lyrics as well, and it suited very, very well into my idea. I realized that when we started, because of Ulrich's work with my song, because all the thing he's done with the lyrics and melodies and stuff like that, it didn't feel fair to call it a solo project. It was more of a collaboration between the two of us. Was that correct, Ulrich? Kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we've known for each other for a long time, and I think we started somewhere back. You started to write some blues stuff, and we started there, and that didn't happen when you called me and said it's time to do this, and I said, let's have a go. You never know what happens, but it worked really, really smooth and well.
How did you two decide on the name Starchaser?
Whatever you come up with, it's always some band somewhere that already, had the same thoughts. So it's always hard to find that, I think. It's not like I've been in so many bands and had to choose names, but for this band, I felt like, what are we thinking? What are we, could we have, the name in with the what we are thinking when we write the songs. Every name that we came up with was like, no, it didn't felt right. I don't know where I saw it. Maybe it was that old, I don't know if you've seen that old movie or series that is like a cartoon series about some, I think it's from the 70s maybe or something, that's called Starchaser actually. So I just saw that, flash by, and I thought that's a kind of cool name. So I don't know.
Why not?
I think it's important to point out as well that when we had these 8 or 9 songs ready, we felt that we needed a song to raise the tempo a bit. We needed to have like a song with some double kicks and stuff like that. We love that. So we wrote Starchaser in, I think, the riff. I came up with the riff in like 15 minutes, and he got a melody idea as well, really fast. And we named the song Starchaser because of the lyrics. You can tell him later a little bit about the lyrics. And when we were about thinking of what are we supposed to call this band, and we got to the lyrics of that particular songs, and that's also a direction of the band.
Is that fairly accurate, Ulrich, on the lyrics of Starchaser?
I'm a bit of I love history. I've always been a fan of old history, stuff like that. In the beginning, it wasn't really, Starchaser, we talked about we really need a good opening song, because back in the 80s, when you listen to a vinyl, the first song made the record in a way. You needed to have a really strong opener. So that's what we worked around. And then, of course, put in the name would be a good idea. I got the idea of Egypt and all the mysteria around that. So I was like thinking of someone looking for something, looking for answers that they can't find really, but they know there are in there somewhere. So that's what's the lyrics about, and it's about this guy looking for that, and then going back in time when they were actually made the hieroglyphics and knew what they were for. So it's going back and forth in a way. So in the chorus is more now, and in the verse it's more back.
Moving on to your other single, you have Dead Man Walking. Is there sort of a story that portrays?
It's basically about this soldier that never dies. You see his friends die, but he never dies. He continue going into war, another place, another country, and it's the same thing. You're bound of people that's really close together, and you lose friends, but he still, or her, I don't know, still continue and never stops. It wasn't really planned, thinking about what's happening now in the world, but it was released in the middle of it.
Kenneth, do you have another single coming out soon?
Yeah, we have to talk about that with Frontiers. I think for now it's supposed to be these 2 singles, and the album is out.
You mentioned that when you put these musical compositions together, that you started on the piano, and I noticed that you listed kind of your inspiration was Philip Glass and Max Richter. They're classical composers, and you certainly hear it in the introduction to the album and kind of in pieces throughout the album. So it's kind of a unusual blend into this style of music.
Yeah, my love for Philip Glass is infinite. He's just if someone asked me do you have a role model or idol or something, I would probably say Philip Glass, because I like when music touch you. You listen to music and it actually grabs your soul and all that kind of stuff. The same goes, if you listen to music and you think something is good, you listen by ear, but some music you just feel, and the Glass kind of compositions moves me, and I'm very, very, how do you say, influenced by that kind of stuff. Also Max Richter. I could name other composers as well, but Philip Glass is a milestone, and when I compose, I try to write music as simple as possible. Philip Glass is a person that could write a team with just using 3 notes, and it sounds, and that's what I tried to do. But when you put on the guitars and stuff like that, it becomes more than that. Obviously, it's heavy metal or metal.
You had this album produced by Roger Bergstein, who's, I believe, a death metal guy. So
Yeah.
It's kind of an odd choice to bring in for this style of music.
Yeah, the thing is, I've known Roger for like, I think it's 25, 30, almost 30 years now. And we've been together in different constellations throughout time. And I thought, well, when I'm going to do this album now, I would like to work with people that has been close to me for several years long. And he has also always been a friend, and he's a very, very good technician and producer as well.
Are you guys planning on taking this act on the road, or is this going to be more of a studio project?
We'd love to go on road. That's the plan. I mean, to get it out and play shows.
I mean, the thing is, as well, I mean, it's been on hold for a couple of years now because of COVID, and now this, it's a lot of band just waiting to go out, who's been postponed over and over again, and it's a lot of bands that want to get out. So it's but we would love to, of course. That's the best thing, being on stage.
Yeah, there's like a backlog of everybody online trying to get their old tours back, then some people trying to get new tours, and everybody released music during the pandemic lockdowns. It's insane.
Exactly.
How did you guys get your deal with Frontiers Music?
Actually, we had several offers from different labels, but I would like to take the opportunity to say that I work with a management called GMR Music and a woman called Lena Graf there, and she's a friend and she's our manager. We said when we had the album done, we said we would like to try and get the biggest labels, the best labels. So we started up high in the beginning. Frontiers got the album and contacted us real quick, and Lena Graf helped us to sort the deal out. But we had a couple of other labels as well, but Frontiers seemed to be the best choice, the best opportunity for the band. So that's why we chose to go with Frontiers.
Ulrich, are you working with any other bands, or is it just you and Kenneth at this point?
At the moment, I play in another band as well, a 70s band called Shaggy. Nothing to you shouldn't.
I know Shaggy. Shaggy.
You do?
Yeah.
All right. So we it's a friend of mine, the original guitarist from that band, and we met at the party, and he said, because they went back together from being away from each other for, I don't know, 20 years or something, and they were like trying to start where they left, and it didn't happen with the singer. So he asked me if I could do a couple of songs, which I did. So I've done 3 albums with them so far. We're not out that much. We're kind of a spread band as well, but we released a single in beginning of December last year. So, but so it's nothing more than that. You can say, but I was really surprised that you heard the band or know about the band. That's kind of cool.
I think I was assigned a review for the last website I worked for, and
right.
That's the only reason I knew about it. 70s groove, if I remember correctly.
Absolutely, a lot of Hammond and guitars and stuff. Yeah, really cool.
A lot of Hammond. Yes, that's what I remember.
Yeah.
Kenneth, are you working on anything on the side, or is this Starchaser your main focus right now?
Yeah, Starchaser would be the main focus. I've done some guest appearances with a few bands.
Did you leave TAD MOROSE because you wanted to start this solo project, or was there something else?
I had like 7 years with TAD MOROSE. I still love TAD MOROSE, but I was actually, feeling like I had enough music industry and touring around. So that's why I decided after a show in Greece, I decided I had enough. and that's why I had this, musical break for several months. When you're in a band, you need to feel that what you are doing is that it means something, and in the end with TAD MOROSE, I didn't feel that, so I basically just had to step down. But as a musician, you can't live without music, so that's how Starchaser was born. I needed to do something.
I would think that there's more satisfaction in being able to create your own music at your own pace with less outside interference and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a big thing with Starchaser as well. I mean, this first album, it was made in peace and harmony, total. There was no one, demanding anything. We just wrote those songs, and that's how it's supposed to be. I can easily say that when I was writing the first couple of songs, I felt that I was doing it for myself, and that's a great feeling when you can just create something and then sit back and listen to it and enjoy it.
Ulrich, how do you kind of feel about that? Because I know you've been in bands that were already established as well. You were in M.ILL.ION for a brief time. That is a little easier on you when you have more control.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how it. I wouldn't say it was easy to do the album, but it felt really easy in a way because all the pieces just matched really well. And I just when Kenneth sent me, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 songs, I would just pick one and just start to work, and it just felt right from the beginning. And it's not really that often that you feel that. I mean, I've been doing music now for, I don't know, almost 40 years, 35, 40 years now. And obviously, I mean, this is a new way of work as well, because I've been working here. I'm a 10-hour ride from where Kenneth lives. So it's not like, let's meet up and in the rehearsal room and try some stuff out. We just send it back and forth, and most of the gear that we use is the same thing, so there's no problem there. So it was really easy to, I did some bits and pieces and sent it back, and yeah. So I think this is the first time I really could put that much effort into melodies, all the way through. Of course, with the help of the other guys, because those ears are really important to have. That just tell me what you feel and what you think. It's really important that you say that from the beginning, and not, yeah, it's okay, it's good. So you have everyone in the same boat. Everyone should say what they think. It's not, even if me and Kenneth started, it's not our boat alone. It's, the 5 of us together.
Absolutely. And I think you guys made a fantastic album. Starchaser sounds great. It's a powerful melodic hard rock album, in my opinion. And it's out now, available on Frontiers Music. And that's all the questions I have for you today, guys. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you very much.
Once again, I want to thank Kenneth and Ulrich for coming on the Rock is George podcast. Be sure to check out Starchaser's self-titled debut, out now on Frontiers Music. It's streaming everywhere. If you like what you hear, head over to the Frontiers shop in the US or worldwide and purchase a physical copy. Support the artist. I also want to thank Dustin Hardman of Hardman Promotions and Frontiers Music for making this interview possible. For all things Starchaser, head over to their Facebook page, facebook.com/StarchaserBand. You've been great. I've been George Dionne. I'll see you again soon.